Tonight on the MTN News, digging out a winter storm, bringing a lot of snow and making for some extremely difficult driving.
Well, I've probably come out here 3 times today.
I try to get out here and do as much of it as I can for them.
Plus, taking a stand.
Far too many people are put in cages.
We hear from one Billings church about its display protesting a proposal to turn Metro Park into a holding facility. And bringing science to life at the Atomic Circus. The MTN News starts right now.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Well, good evening and thanks for joining us on this Friday night. I'm Russ Riesinger. A winter storm leaving a heavy blanket of snow across Billings and the surrounding area. A look outside at the lights of the Magic City on this Friday night. The snow has subsided, but now even colder temperatures are moving in. Well, a lot of snow has fallen. If you had to be out in it today driving, then you know that those streets in Billings are an absolute mess in many places. City plows have been struggling to keep up with all of it after just finishing up from the last round we got. Matt Carmack was out on the streets earlier where it was pretty slow going.
Billings resident Dawson Reed could barely keep up Friday.
Oh, I've probably come out here 3 times today. I did work this morning, but yeah, 3 or 4 times I've been out here moving snow and trying to stay on top of it.
Crossing guard Debbie Polinsky was pulling double duty, shoveling between shifts for the kids at Highland.
A lot of kids walk and they don't have a very good clear path. So I try to get out here and do as much of it as I can for them.
It's what so many did all Friday across the city.
These guys turning their lives around on a dime, you know. Most of the guys have kids or other responsibilities outside, wives, spouses, helping coach teams, and they put their lives on hold to turn around, switch to 12-hour days.
Derek Miller is the supervisor for the city's traffic and street division. He says his crew of 22 is plowing snow, transporting it to their 2 sites all day long. One here next to the Billings airport.
Behind me is about 2,000 loads worth of snow that employees from the city of Billings have gathered.
The ones that we center stack, you see the berm going down the middle of the street. We have a huge snow blower. It blows it into the back of the trucks, and then we have to drive it over here.
Miller says although salt is better at breaking down the snow, it's not really effective when it's below 0 and cloudy. Residential crews hadn't even finished cleaning up the last big storm before Friday's hit.
As soon as they get done or getting close to done, we'll be reassessing.
Those crews will now reset to Zone 3 next. Until then, they hope the snow stops long enough to catch up.
It's an incredibly time-extensive process to get that all removed from the streets.
A feeling the same with residential snow shovelers.
I know exactly where the outline is and where I'm looking for by now, yeah.
In Billings, Matt Carmack, MTN News.
Well, snowy conditions and drifting forcing the closure of Interstate 90 all the way from Park City to Bozeman earlier today. The 118-mile stretch shut down due to rapidly changing weather that caused low visibility and hazardous conditions. Montana Highway Patrol showed a lot of crashes and slide-offs as a result of the weather. I-90 is back open again now. Well, a close call for a Stillwater County deputy before they finally closed the interstate this morning. His vehicle was rear-ended. Now, fortunately, the deputy is okay, but a good reminder to slow down if you have to be driving in this weather. Let's get a first look at the forecast now from meteorologist Jason Stiff.
Well, what a snowy day as has been for Montana and Wyoming. Now almost all that snow is gone. We have some lingering clouds outside, but already plenty of snow-packed and icy roads. Thankfully, the road between Bozeman and Park City reopened several hours ago, but it's still a snowy road. Same thing heading eastward toward Hardin. Also northeastward as we move toward Miles City. We have some lingering clouds, light snow showers not really being picked up on radar right now, and the same thing for east central and northeast of Montana. Some lingering clouds, some cold air is filtering in from Saskatchewan, Alberta, and Manitoba, and it's going to be a colder night as we lose those clouds through tomorrow morning. So thus far in Billings, we had a high today of 10 degrees, but that was at 3:10 this morning. An hour before that snow started, had a record-breaking amount of over 6 inches of snow in the Billings area. Going to let you know what else is coming over the next 7 days in just a few minutes.
Billings First Congregational Church is taking a stand against Yellowstone County Commissioner's offer to use Metro Park as a holding facility for illegal immigrants. Our Haley Monaco visited the church and has more.
You can't miss it driving down 27th Street. A large cage with a mannequin holding a baby inside. A moving piece expressing opposition.
Hundreds of people drive by every day.
Billings First Congregational Church is taking a stand.
I want it to be something that makes people feel empathy.
And making a statement.
Far too many people are put in cages.
Protesting Yellowstone County Commissioner Mark Morse's offer to use Metro Park as a detention facility to house detained undocumented immigrants.
They are still human beings made in the image of God that have value, and putting them in a detention center, potentially at the Metro, is not going to solve any of these problems that we are having as a community.
The caged mannequin sits with a baby in its arms and the words Metro Park and not in our town above.
The county commissioner said they haven't dealt with any specifics yet. They haven't, started building anything yet. But the very fact that that this proposal was made is deeply troubling for us.
Morse declined to speak with MTN News about this story and the reach that his proposal has had. The exhibit will stand until something changes.
My current plan is to keep it up until either the letter from the county commissioners is rescinded, or until there is a firm decision to not have the detention center be at the Metro.
A powerful, emotional site with the church's marquee offering a contrasting thought. You shall love the immigrant as yourself.
We are to care for the strangers in our community. Even Jesus himself said that the way a people cares for the strangers among them will have an impact on their soul. We want to, call our community to do better.
In Billings, Haley Monaco, MTN News.
Representatives in the Montana House debated a bipartisan Medicaid expansion proposal today. Of course, Medicaid expansion considered one of the biggest issues of this session, and the legislation could significantly impact the health insurance of some 1 in 10 Montanans. Montana's Medicaid expansion is currently scheduled to sunset on June 30th. Medicaid is a joint state and federal health insurance program for families with low income. Montana's Medicaid expansion allows adults 19 to 64 and making less than 138% of the federal poverty level to qualify for coverage. 2023, an average of 288,000 Montanans were enrolled in Medicaid, and about 38% were on Medicaid expansion. House Bill 245 effectively renews the program as it is now, while making some changes in how the state connects people on Medicaid expansion with workforce development services.
Therefore, I'm going to rise in support of Medicaid expansion. Medicaid has been a critical source for people in our communities across the state. Rural communities, tribal communities, and a lot of farming communities.
And if the match isn't 90-10, if it is like every other part of traditional Medicaid, right around 62-38, it is a financial burden that we could not afford to bear.
Well, in the end, House Bill 245 did pass the House on a vote of 63 to 37 with bipartisan support. Well, a hot bowl of soup goes a long ways on a cold day like this. It also goes a long ways toward helping women in our community dealing with domestic abuse and other issues. David J. takes us to the annual Super Bowl fundraiser event, which has been making a difference here in Billings for 2 decades now.
Angeles Piazza is a safe place for women to drop in if they're trying to overcome addiction or maybe dealing with domestic violence. Every year around this time, right before the big game on Sunday, Angeles Piazza has its own version, a big fundraiser it calls the Super Bowl.
Can I take some for you?
Candace Salazar Garcia volunteers at the fundraiser for an organization that helped her get through addiction and abuse.
It was in 2015. I was in a domestic violence situation. Sister Mary is the one that helped me. She saved my life.
In 1998, Sister Mary Dostal was a co-founder of Angeles Piazza, named after a sister in the 1500s who also helped women.
Angela Merici, who was Italian, is the one who founded our religious community. Piazza, or people are more familiar with plaza, the Spanish word. And Angela said, make your hearts and your homes like a piazza. Anyone is welcome.
And for 20 years, local chefs have cooked soup for the biggest fundraiser for Angeles Piazza, the Super Bowl.
We spell it SOUPER because we celebrate all that is awesome soup.
The bowls have been made and donated by local artists, some who contribute every year.
This guy here is from Brent Long, Mark Kelly, Jeff Ivan.
It's amazing. The community support we have is tremendous.
Amy Aguirre is the executive director for Angeles Piazza and says she counted about 3,000 sign-ins at the drop-in center last year.
You know, it's different for every woman, and sometimes it takes the going back more than once to her abuser, just trying to find her footing. It's scary, you know, being away because you don't know what to expect or how to support yourself.
You get the support from the community, and it's so important. It's so good for all of us.
In Billings, David J., MTN News.
New report from the Labor Department shows the job market remains healthy, but there are some signs of a slowdown. Overall, the economy added 143,000 jobs last month. It's less than expected, but numbers for November and December were revised significantly higher. That helped push the unemployment rate down from 4.1% to just 4%. And for many job seekers, it's taking longer to find work. Survey from the job placement firm Career Group found 20% of applicants have been looking 10 to 12 months or longer. 30% say they've been searching for 4 to 6 months.